Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about data center audits. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds like a job for the IT department, right? Well, it's actually a critical strategic process. And if you're a leader, you need to understand this because it's key to protecting your operations, your budget, and honestly, your company's entire future. So let's ground this in reality right away. The source for this explainer is a report from Virtualization Options LLC, a firm that specifically advises executives on tech. And they put it bluntly, any downtime can lead to significant financial losses and reputational damage. So we're not just talking about servers here. We're talking about your revenue. We're talking about your brand. That's what is truly at stake. So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover why the stakes are so incredibly high. Then we'll break down what an audit really is, get into the nuts and bolts of inspecting the core infrastructure, look at how to turn that report into real action, and finally, talk about building resilience that lasts. Let's dive in. Before we get into the mechanics of an audit, we absolutely have to understand the why. What is actually on the line when we start talking about the reliability of our data centers? It really all comes down to three things you just can't compromise on. First up, uninterrupted operations. I mean, this is the day-to-day stuff. If your data center has a hiccup, your sales might stop, your logistics grind to a halt. It's that simple. Second, data integrity. This isn't just a good idea, it's a legal and ethical line in the sand. Failing to protect your data can mean huge fines and a loss of customer trust that you might never get back. And finally, business continuity. This is the big picture, surviving a major event, whether it's a natural disaster or huge power outage. It's what ensures your whole company can weather the storm. Okay, so we get it. The stakes are high. But what exactly is a data center audit? It's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but its meaning is actually very specific and very powerful. The keyword here is comprehensive. This is so much more than just walking around with a clipboard and counting servers. You should think of it like a complete physical for your company's digital heart. The audit scrutinizes everything, the hardware, the software, the power, the security, to give you one single holistic picture of its health, its efficiency, and its resilience. So, what does this health check actually look at? Well, it all centers on three absolutely critical areas of your infrastructure. We start with the absolute fundamentals, power and cooling. You can seriously think of these as the lifeblood and the respiratory system of your data center. If you don't have consistent, clean power and stable temperatures, literally nothing else matters. An audit is going to check for redundancy. Are there backups for your power, for your cooling? It also measures something called power usage efficiency, or PUE. Now, this is a critical dollar and cents metric. A PUE of 2.0 means that for every dollar you spend powering your servers, you're wasting another dollar on overhead, like cooling. Getting that number closer to 1.0 is a direct boost to your bottom line. It's a huge goal of these checks. Next up, the audit looks at how the data center connects to the outside world and, just as importantly, how it's protected from that world. This covers both your digital pathways and your physical walls. The goal here is really twofold. On the network side, the audit makes sure your data highways are fast and have backup routes. A bottleneck can slow down your apps, and an outage can take you completely offline. And on the physical side, it confirms the fortress is actually secure, because a simple unauthorized entry isn't just a security risk, it's a potential compliance nightmare and a massive liability. And the third pillar? Well, it acknowledges a hard truth. No matter how good your defenses are, you absolutely must have a plan for when things go wrong. And they will. This is all about backups and disaster recovery. Okay, this brings us to two of the most critical terms any executive has to know, RTO and RPO. RTO, the recovery time objective, is all about time. It answers the business question, how long can we afford to be down? Is it minutes, hours, a day? Then there's RPO, the recovery point objective. That's all about data. It asks, how much data can we afford to lose? An hour's worth, a day's worth. Answering these two questions is a business decision, not a technical one, and it defines your entire recovery strategy. All right, the audit is done. You have a detailed report in your hands. Now what? The whole point, the crucial next step, is turning all of that data into smart, actionable decisions. So how's it done? This is where the audit basically becomes a crystal ball. By tracking performance over time, you can see the future coming. You see CPU usage is climbing, memory is maxed out, This isn't just technical jargon. It's a clear signal that lets you justify investing in upgrades before a catastrophic failure forces your hand. Now, the audit report will come with a whole list of recommendations. The key is to triage them strategically. First, you tackle the absolutely critical issues, anything that's a single point of failure or a major security risk. Then you implement the cost-effective solutions, the low-hanging fruit like optimizing power that gives you the best bang for your buck. And finally, you plan for those longer-term performance enhancements like hardware and network upgrades. But here's the thing, and it's really important. A great audit isn't a one-and-done event. It's the launch pad for building a culture of continuous resilience. The ultimate goal here is to shift from being reactive, fixing things after they break, to being truly proactive. This means putting in real-time monitoring of your key systems, setting up automated alerts that flag issues before they become crises, and using regular reports to stay ahead of the trends. It's all about building a data center that doesn't just recover from problems, but actively anticipates and prevents them. And that brings us to the final question. After seeing what a true audit involves, you have to ask yourself, is your data center, your business's backbone, truly resilient? Or is it unknowingly just waiting for one single point of failure to bring everything crashing down? That is the question this whole process empowers you to answer. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.